But now, Juan Pablo, it's your turn, finally.
No worries. Thank you for the invitation. All right, let me see, share the screen. Okay, can you guys see it? I assume yes.
Yes, everything fine.
Yeah, cool. So let me start with a question and ask you if you've ever wondered what would happen if you mix football and data. Well, today I'm here to give you a brief preview and overview of the things that we are currently doing and planning to do at FIFA. So my name, as I mentioned, is Juan Pablo Busso, and I'm the football data scientist at FIFA. And let me start from the source of everything, which is data. And basically, the great majority of our data comes from the footage of the matches that we have. And we have two different processes collecting this data. On one side, we have a team of football analysts watching these videos and collecting the event or action data. So we have one analyst, football analyst, watching one player the entire match. So basically, we have 22 football analysts watching every match of FIFA. And then we also have third-party companies that ingest this video data and transform it into tracking data. And by tracking data, I mean that they translate that into the coordinates of the players inside the pitch where they are playing. We further are developed already algorithms that take these two pieces of data, they combine them, sync them, and create enriched events and what we call enhanced football intelligence metrics, or EFIs. And I will explain later what these are. So here is basically the setting of how this data collection process looks like. So we have, in this case, 22 times 2 teams of football analysts collecting data because there were 2 matches happening simultaneously. And how is possible that all these people are collecting data objectively? Well, at FIFA, we have developed what we call the FIFA football language, which is basically a big glossary or dictionary that encompasses many different actions that the players can perform on the ball and off the ball, and also the attributes of those actions. So for example, if they code a pass, then we want to know if it was with the left foot, with the right foot, if it was lofted, if it was successful, and so on. Now, how do they do that? They use this tool that you can see here. So they have on the top left of the screen all the camera angles that they want. They have on the bottom the timelines for each player. So each row here, it's a player, and each of these, let's say, blue marks that you see are events for that player or actions. And then on the top right, you have the markup, which is basically a sequence of buttons that the analyst can press to record the actions of the players. So how does this look like? Well, here you see that an analyst, as I mentioned, is watching one particular player. I hope that this is playing okay for you. And then when they see that the player performs an event, they start clicking basically these different buttons to register the events. And then this goes into this timeline of the player that you mentioned. One important thing to have in mind is that they are coding frame accurate because, as we mentioned, they are combining both the frame data and we're syncing the tracking data with the action data. So we need this coding to be frame accurate. Then what do we do with this data? As I mentioned, we developed these enhanced football intelligence metrics, or what we call EFIs. And for example, one algorithm is responsible of detecting the team shape. So that means to detect where players are playing respective of their teammates. So here on the left, for example, you see a team that had 6 players playing on the back, 3 more in the center, and 1 further forward. Teams would be playing here from left to right. And then the right graph displays a different, let's say, team shape where you had 5 players playing more on the back, 2 more on the center, and 3 further forward. We also have other algorithms that basically can tell us how the match is going. This is a pitch control model. Here in blue, you see the areas that would be controlled by the blue team, and in red, you see the areas that would be controlled by the red team. This algorithm, for example, learns the behaviors of the players during the match, what are they running, how fast, and the likelihood of them performing a pass to different areas. And then with that calculates the probability that a team will control the ball in any particular area of the pitch. We also have algorithms that, as I said, take both the event data and the tracking data into consideration. For example, here you see that the pass was performed, and this algorithm recognized that and measured if there was a line break or not. By line, I mean here it's a group of players forming a line, and then collects all this information of how was that line break, which line was broken, the number of units that were present on the field, how many players were on that unit, etc. We also have other algorithms that, for example, measure the pressure exerted towards a player with the ball, like you see here, or the pressure perceived by a player that currently has the ball. So these algorithms that I just showed basically can do this live throughout the match. So we can basically, for each event of the player, a pass, shot, calculate how much pressure they were under, or basically how much pressure was a particular defender exerting on that particular player. Now, who was this for? So basically, viewers in general of people that are gonna watch and are watching competitions from FIFA, like for example, the World Cup. The idea is that these EFIs will provide a new perspective, complementing already the present, or let's say current knowledge that many people, fans and professionals have of the game, in order to provide them of a different angle of how to interpret the game. And also for people that know a bit less from football to be able to see all the intricacies or interesting things that are happening in football that sometimes are hard to perceive. And the idea is, for example, yes, to show it during the competitions, also to share it with the technical directors and coaches during the matches so that they can, and also before and after the match, of course, so that they can make decisions about how their strategy is working, if they need to do any particular change, if they need to, let's say, improve something or make an alteration of the formation and so on. And then lastly, also we have a FIFA training center. And in this platform, mostly works for training new coaches, or where they can actually see part of this training is combining the information that we are collecting from these metrics with the knowledge of experts, and then, basically providing a new or alternative way of coaching a particular type of play. But also we have a lot of articles there that are basically for the public in general, that are about a player, a particular team, or even a particular tournament. And these combine the opinions of the experts with data that we already showed. And the idea is that these data, or these EFIs, objectively allow the quantification of different aspects of the game, making it comparable between players, between matches, between tournaments, and throughout history. And well, here is the website here on the bottom left, so I encourage you to go visit it if you want to learn more about the FIFA football language and what we're currently doing at FIFA. And with that, it's the end of my presentation, but it's just the beginning of our journey at FIFA. Thank you. I think you're muted.
Thank you very much, Juan Pablo. I couldn't have associated football with data prior to your presentation, but now I can associate them. But let me ask you about your business model, because you are not an NGO. So are you monetizing those models? How does it work?
So currently we are, basically this is data that is going to be available to everyone, and we are sharing it with the team. So there is no selling strategy behind it. The idea is to, instead, to share it and to make, let's say, everyone, to give access to everyone to this technology and this, let's say, advantageous analysis.
Okay. And then let me step into the quality of your models, right? Because if we talk about data and modeling, right, we are very soon associated with a real-time impact, with a perspective. But in your case, it's pure retrospective, right? Or do you see an evolution that such data can be used for real-time impacts, for predicting some events in the future?
I think that as for now, we are currently working retrospective and real time. So as it's all the things that I showed you, we are able to see during the match, and we'll be able to show during the match. However, predicting in football, it's still, let's say, a bit, further down the line. I don't envision that in the near future, but it would be certainly be something very interesting to explore. However, it's a very complex topic, as we know.
Good. Thank you very much, Juan Pablo, for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Have a nice day. Bye.